Welcome to today's episode, where we dive into a pivotal moment from the Mahabharata. In verse 1.3 pashaita, Pano du putranam acharya mahati tamum, Vyucha Drupada putrena tava Shishnadimata, Duryodhana turns to his teacher, Dronacharya, and asks him to behold the mighty army of the Pandavas, noting its impressive formation. What stands out about Duryodhana's words in this context?
Duryodhana's words are layered with subtlety. On the surface, he appears to simply acknowledge the strength and organization of the Pandava army. However, he specifically highlights that the army was arranged by Dhrishtadyumna, the son of Drupada, who is not only a skilled warrior but also Dronacharya's former adversary. This is a calculated mention.
It seems that Duryodhana's statement is more than just a factual observation. How does this reference to Dhrishtadyumna, Drupada's son, add a psychological dimension to his speech?
By pointing out that Dhrishtadyumna, Drupada's son, is leading the army, Duryodhana is subtly reminding Dronacharya of his personal history. Dhrishtadyumna was born specifically to kill Drona, following a deep conflict between Drona and Drupada. The fact that Drona trained him, knowing this prophecy, adds a layer of irony and tension to the battlefield dynamics.
This irony seems profound. Dronacharya, as the guru, imparted all his knowledge of warfare to Dhrishtadyumna, destined to be his own destroyer. How did this unusual teacher-student relationship come about, and what does it reveal about Drona's character?
Despite knowing that Dhrishtadyumna was born from a yajna with the intent to defeat him, Dronacharya accepted him as his disciple. This decision demonstrates Drona's commitment to the traditions of teaching and his sense of duty as a guru, even when it meant empowering someone who might eventually turn against him on the battlefield.
That's such a complex interplay of duty and destiny. In the context of the Kurukshetra war, how does Dronacharya's internal conflict influence the unfolding events, especially given Duryodhana's pointed reminder?
Dronacharya's situation reflects a deep moral dilemma. Duryodhana's reminder is meant to unsettle him, making Drona aware that his own knowledge now strengthens the opposition. It's a psychological tactic, urging Drona to remain steadfast in his loyalty to the Kauravas and not let personal bonds with his former students cloud his judgment during the war.
Let's delve into the political undertones here. Duryodhana's speech goes beyond military commentary. It's an act of psychological warfare. How does he use words as weapons in this exchange with Dronacharya?
Duryodhana masterfully employs flattery and subtle taunts to manipulate Dronacharya's emotions. By crediting Drona's own student for the strategic arrangement, he sows seeds of doubt and perhaps guilt. It's a reminder that in war, psychological tactics are as important as physical strength, and even respected relationships can be manipulated for advantage.
It's striking how Duryodhana leverages personal history to assert control. Does this kind of emotional manipulation have a precedent in other epic battles or texts? And what does it teach us about leadership during conflict?
Absolutely, epic narratives often depict leaders using personal relationships as leverage. From the Iliad to the Ramayana, commanders exploit emotions to motivate or destabilize their troops. Duryodhana's approach teaches us that effective leadership in conflict sometimes involves calculated rhetoric, but it can also risk undermining trust and morale if pushed too far.
Stepping back from the battlefield, this episode also prompts spiritual reflection. What lessons does this verse offer about dharma, ego, and the responsibility that comes with knowledge?
The verse highlights that even profound wisdom can be twisted when ego or rivalry take precedence. Dronacharya's predicament illustrates how the sacred teacher-student bond can be tested by war's harsh realities. It's a caution that knowledge and power, when misused or clouded by personal motives, can become double-edged swords.
That's a powerful takeaway. In your experience, how can individuals guard against the misuse of their own wisdom or skills, especially in high-stakes environments?
It comes down to self-awareness and humility, staying anchored to one's core values and remembering the true purpose behind one's knowledge can help prevent its misuse. Recognizing that words and actions carry immense weight, especially in times of conflict, can inspire greater mindfulness and integrity in all our dealings.